Hey folks, so this retired shade tree mechanic no longer does many repairs on cars now. They're just too difficult to work on. But I've got to replace the spark plugs on this 2014 Chevy Equinox 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine. That should be a pretty easy job. I've got to take this airbox off. I've got to take that hose off to get the airbox off. There's another hose down in there, hooked to the throttle body. That's got to come off. I think those are 8mm screws, or I can use a flathead screwdriver. Pop those off. I've already removed the PCV valve here. That has to come off. Then I can pop that off, and then we'll get at the spark plug. All right, so I think I said 8mm for this hose clamp. Loosen that up, and then this should pop off. I already have the PCV valve off. Next step is the throttle body hose. All right, I'll give that a try. Let's see if it pops off. All right, that's out. So the airbox is out of the way, and I did check that airbox to make sure there was no mouse nest or anything in it. That looks clean. So these 4 bolts here have to come out. These are where the spark plugs are. These are the 4 coils. So we'll take these off and get to the spark plugs. Now these are 10mm bolts. So I'm going to crack each one loose first. So these wires are all set up so that they come out of the batch here. Can't think of the word I'm looking for, but they come out of the batch here right by the cylinder where they seat, so you can't really mess them up. And pop them all off, and the spark plugs are down inside there, kind of like the old Hemi engines. So now I think those are 5/8 if I remember correctly. You need a 5/8 spark plug socket to take those out, so I'll get that. All right, so the 4 plugs are out. Here is a new plug. The gap should be 36 thousandths of an inch. I've got 35 right now, and it's loose, so I'll have to adjust the electrodes here and close up that gap. All right, so the 4 plugs are gapped to 36 thousandths of an inch. Drop them down in here and turn carefully. Make sure they don't cross thread. Okay, the 4 plugs are in, so now I got to put the boots back on here and the coils. So again, they're right in order, can't really mess it up. And then reinstall the bolts or the screws. I'll start them by hand so they don't cross thread. So the spark plugs are in, coil packs are back on. I'm ready to put the airbox back in place. But before I do that, I want to switch out the air filter. So I'll take this cover off. I've already loosened up the H4 Allen screws here. So I'll just lift the cover out of the way. Move it over. pull the filter out. It's kind of dirty. Install the new one. Put the cover back on and tighten it back down. Okay, so the air filter, the air box is all set. It's all bolted back down. So now on this air box, we have the two rubber grommets right here. They go on these posts right there, and then this hose goes over the throttle body right here. I'll pop that on. Next is the throttle body. So I'll pop that on. And then finally, I put the hose back on here. Okay, and then put the PCV valve back in, and it's done.